last time on Oz Hour?
Okay, so last time on Oz Hour, the gang gets out of the donkey town and they move on and they hear some music playing, some weird and they're like, what's that? And it's the Musicer. And they're like, hi, Musicer, what's up? What's going on? He's like, oh my God, can I come with you guys? And they're like, no, we actually don't want you to come with us. So we're just going to keep going. And so they keep making their way. And then they run into oh my God, what are they called? The Steelers? I can't remember their names. The Stellwingers. they're the creepy things. They're the creepy things. And they want to make them into soup. And they want to eat them. And the Shaggy Man was like, oh, well, I got a magnet. He was like, love magnet, so you actually love me. And he was like, well, actually, I love you in soup. Ha ha ha. And they're like, well, we're just going to take your heads off and throw them in this crevice. And now we've escaped. So that's what we did. And now they've escaped. And now they have hit the desert and they don't know where to go from there until Shaggy Man was like, oh, I have a person, Johnny B. Doo. And he creates a boat that they travel to, or he builds a boat and they get in it and that's how they get. That's it. I'm done.
Hi there, and welcome to Oz Hour, the only place where you can hear everything you never knew about the wonderful and strange land of Oz.
That's right. With the help of some alcohol, we will be discussing each of the 14 books in L. Frank Baum's Wizard of Oz series.
Today, we'll be continuing with Book 5, The Road to Oz, covering chapters 12 through 15.
We're your hosts, Blake Elizabeth Stone.
And Wyatt Alexander Swangham.
And joining us is our resident Oz initiate, Hannah...
Maria.
Oh, you're going to use your real one.
Your real one?
Okay.
Oh.
My middle name is not Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah, you're
actually.
right.
Or Alexander.
Anyway, Hannah, you screwed that up. But what you didn't screw up so bad was playing last time on. Just kidding, it was terrible. Where you recapped what happened last time on Oz Hour.
I'm having a rough day.
Okay, I'm sorry, I said terrible. But it did take you a minute and 20 seconds.
And you invented a lot of
You
names.
said so
Oh
much
my
weird
God.
shit. in
I
that.
know. I thought I might have been having a stroke. I was like, actually, I think someone needs to call 911, turn that timer off.
First of all, those creepy things are not called Renee Zellweger. They are called Scoodlers. The Scoodlers also all speak in one voice. You kind of made it sound like the Shaggy Man was talking to just one of them, but it was like all of them. And the Shaggy Man's friend, again, bad with names. He's called Johnny Do It.
Okay.
And Johnny Do It does it and builds a sand boat which will help them cross the deadly desert. And that's where we left off.
Okay.
So guess what, listeners? We bought a punch bowl, and this week that's your problem. Because before we started recording, Wyatt went ahead and whipped up some cocktails in said punch bowl.
Yes, it's really like one big cocktail if you're trying to have a long night, or a short one, I guess. But what we made is a Truth Pond Punch. It is a lot of Sprite. So, but we'll see how
My
it tastes.
favorite.
It has blue
I
curacao.
feel we're
yet
becoming
again.
Blue Curacao fans on this
I
show.
guess we are.
Yeah, I hate it. All right.
Let's slurp. Okay.
I like it.
Yeah. Chapter 12, The Deadly Desert, Crossed.
So as we know, Johnny Do It disappeared in the blink of an eye. And like Dorothy's disappointed because she didn't get to thank him for his help.
Yeah, she just like opens her eyes and she's like, oh, I wish I could have thanked him.
Yeah. The Shaggy Man, he's like, Johnny Do It doesn't have time to listen to your thanks. He's off helping somebody else right now.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Literally, he's like he is already helping someone else in
He
the world.
knows you're grateful.
Yeah, but he says, I'm sure
I
he
guess
would
he's a
be
busy
glad
man.
for your
He's like
thanks.
the rainbow.
Yeah, how many?
All you have to do is sing that little
I was
song.
gonna
And he's
say,
like, oh, gotta go.
How many people know that song?
Yeah.
like I mean, poor Johnny.
It should be private.
Johnny is like a closeted alcoholic, and like he accidentally tells a lot of people about the song. Hey, you don't need my phone number.
It's probably good for him because the more he's working, probably the less he's
The
drinking.
less he's drinking.
Well, he
Then
dri-
again, we'll see how this turns out.
Yeah,
Maybe he's not doing a
we'll
good job.
see. But they check out the sand boat actually, and it's equipped with these two sharp runners to glide through the sand. And the front of it's like pointy, like a regular boat.
It's like a boat on skis, basically.
Yeah.
Just like big skis, or
And
like
then-
a water plane.
well, and
or
then there's like a
something.
rudder in the back that they
Yeah,
like
to
move
steer.
to steer.
like a boat.
Okay.
Like a boat. But yeah, it's built so that it's already entirely on top of the sand, except for just the back of it. I don't know how Johnny Dewitt does it.
Well,
How did
me
he do
neither.
that?
I don't know how he pushed it over there. I also don't know why we even had to know that. I was
So
like,
the-
Frank Baum has left out so
Probably
many details.
Because if they were on the grass, the wind isn't going to pick up in the sails to get
no,
them
I get it.
going.
I understand why in reality we would need to know that as a fact, but like,
Yeah, it's weird what he
why did he
chooses
tell? Why
to
did
care
he
about.
tell us?
The details he chooses to put in
yeah,
there.
it's an
Yeah.
interesting choice.
I actually have a note about that later because he's a fucking psycho in today's episode. But yeah, so it's already on the sand most of the way. So Shaggy Man's like, "Hey kids, jump in, and we'll sail off to Oz."
Yeah, feels fairly confident. He's like, I can sail as good as any sailor, so we're good.
Yeah,
So then everyone's in their seats. And Polychrome is up at the front. She's doing like the Titanic thing, you know?
yeah.
the king of the world.
world.
And then the Shaggy Man raises the masts halfway, or the sail, I guess, or whatever. And also Button Bright and Dorothy are just like sitting there. But yeah, it goes, whoa.
Yeah, it takes off.
Yeah. And it's
Whoa.
flying. It
Oh
is
my God.
speeding. Like they
It's like
are.
our jet boat moment.
It
Yeah,
yes.
it literally is like the
They're
jet
going
boat.
50 miles an hour
Yeah.
over the desert. And they
And-
are all terrified.
In the desert, like, I mean, you've seen like pictures of like the sand, how there's like these big waves in it, you know, and like
Dunes.
so they are like, well, like smaller than dunes, like the rivulets in it, but
yeah.
they are just like, dun-dun, dun-dun,
Yeah.
dun-dun.
Oh,
like
my
Polychrome is
God,
like hanging on to the front. And,
I'd
like,
vomit.
And it's like you're driving and there's those little like ridges in the road because there's like a stop sign around the corner. So it's
Yeah.
like, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And I hate that so much.
That's me when
That's
I'm
this the
driving
whole
over
time.
speed bumps.
Yeah.
you
Not
get air.
slowing down.
That's so funny.
Honestly, so everyone's like freaking out, and Shaggy Man has no idea how to make it go slower.
Yeah, even he's
Um,
afraid.
And like Dorothy just thinks like if this boat crashes and we all hit the deadly sand and turn to dust, we'll die.
She's having visions of her own death.
Okay, but like
Yeah, because
she-
it's a pretty small boat, right?
I just
mean,
feel
I
like
guess
the-
you
Yeah.
can fling out of it. It's
Oh.
not like a ship.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's not like
Oh
they're
my
in the
God,
hull.
that's actually so
Absolutely.
scary.
They're basically in a rowboat.
like if it tips, they're done. And yeah, I just felt like that was a good example of Dorothy's continued like lack of fear of death. Like, she's
Yeah.
just like, we'll all die.
Yeah, she is just like, oh man, we'll all turn to dust and be
I mean,
not-
there's
be
so
gone.
many times that she's thought that she's been in a situation where she could easily die.
You
Yeah,
know, at this
and she's
point-
always chill.
At
She's
this
just-
point,
yeah.
she's
I
thankful
need
for
that.
every day because she knows it's not promised.
She was taught death at a very young age.
Yeah, who knows what happened to her parents? Maybe that's it. Maybe there's like a prologue where we learn why she's so like
Accepting
ambivalent.
Her
of it.
parents, her parents were Tarzan's parents.
What if her parents were actually the king and queen of Oz, and she and Dorothy are actually sisters?
Her and Ozma, yeah.
Son
Yes.
of man, look to the sky.
Bata.
Then a spirit
Hey,
says
hey,
you.
we're gonna get the copyright
I'm
infringement.
sorry.
Sorry.
That's because it was so good.
Yeah, they would have thought you actually ripped it.
Polychrome's looking ahead, and she sees they are approaching very fastly a line of jagged rocks up ahead.
Oh my god.
And she screams.
Yeah.
She screams. Yes, exactly. And she screams from the Shaggy Man to watch out. I guess she just yells, "Shaggy Man, watch out!"
Yeah. Okay, and above the rocks is like this plateau of like beautiful trees and green grass.
So they know it's like
Oh.
the end of the desert. Like
Okay.
they have and also
So they could just fling out onto the grass, hopefully.
well, it's like
it's
like
jagged
a cliff.
rocks. Yeah,
So the-
it's like
Oh.
above them.
Yeah.
yeah. It's like an ocean cliff.
So
You know,
they're
you look
gonna
down at the
fly.
water. Oh yeah,
You
it
know,
would
like in the
appear.
cartoons where they're like on a raft or something, it's like this way is like rainbows and butterflies, and this way is
Yeah.
death. It's very that.
Yeah.
it's giving Tom and Jerry.
so, so the Shaggy Man tries to pull the sail down, but the wind is just too strong. Like it is blown. Like he's fighting with it. Eventually, the ropes like get away from him and they get knotted and tangled. So now the mast is stuck up. Like there's no way to get it down. They're speeding along, and they hit the rocks.
Yeah.
They crash into the rocks, and
It
the boat is
crashes.
smashed.
The boat smashes
What is the
in.
boat made out of?
Wood.
Just the wood, yeah.
Okay.
Johnny Dewitt chopped down all those trees.
The front of the boat smashes in. Dorothy and her friends are killed at the edge of the deadly desert.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
They're
a
smashed.
goddamn lie. You guys can't get me anymore.
Honestly,
I know
though,
that no one
We've
dies
been
here.
doing this too long.
It doesn't even make sense though. Okay, so they are catapulted out in an arc like a skyrocket, which
Yeah.
okay. Elfringbaum uses the word skyrocket, which just means a rocket,
Yeah.
apparently. But
That's
they
one word.
So they
It's very
blasted.
weird.
yes, they blasted off and they landed on the grass on the hill above. They just went right up in a
It
perfect
just
little
does not make any sense.
little thing.
It doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. They look down off the cliff. The boat is shattered. Like
Yeah,
it does
it
not make
splinters.
any sense that they launched.
Smithereens.
So God is watching over them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like they're not 100%.
Some higher
safe.
power is watching over them.
Someone.
Come on.
They're not 100% safe because one of Dorothy's teeth comes loose from her mouth, smacking into her knee.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Um,
Ow.
Polychrome, like her clothes are a little torn up. Button Bright's head gets stuck in a gopher hole, and he's just kicking his little legs. Like,
Yeah.
Don't want to be a gopher hole. Don't want to be a gopher hole.
And the Shaggy Man landed like next to Toto, and Toto was so confused that he bit his donkey ear and
Oh, I
would not
forgot
let it
he's a
go.
donkey.
He worried it like a
Yes,
rat.
And Button Bright is, as we all know, a
A
fox.
fox,
Yes.
yeah.
So yeah,
Um,
they're all fucked up.
But I mean, yeah. But Shaggy Man's like, hey, at least we're here, right? But
Yeah.
like, where's that? Where are we?
Yeah.
And Dorothy says, we crossed the desert. Oz is across the desert. Like, we must be in
Gotta
Oz.
be somewhere.
So let's try to get to the center of Oz, where the Emerald City is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Shaggy Man is just like, oh, okay, well, fine. But my question, how does she know it's Oz? Because what she also knows is on the other side of the deadly desert is Ev, for instance.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
because
could
I'm
be
How
out
does she
having
any-
know?
that's it. I'm having questions now about the whole just world.
Yeah.
So the
And they're on our Earth, just so you know.
well, they were, at least.
They were. Oh yeah, like at the beginning of
Yeah.
this book.
beginning.
But like
Yeah.
because of
But,
the
like, yeah.
things, because of the ways that Dorothy's always gotten to Oz, it feels like Oz is on our Earth.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I just wanna
No,
I
it
wanna
does.
see a big map of everything laid
Yeah,
out in
like,
front of
here's
me.
Ev. Here's like the fucking the Foxville, Donkerton, Deadly Desert.
Yeah, like where are
Oz.
those? Are those in Ev?
Yeah, because that's what I want. Well,
Because
they
we
can't be
haven't
in
really
Ev.
we don't know much
It
about
could be.
Ev.
Ev could be way bigger.
But we know the 4 places, right? 4 places in Oz.
yeah,
like-
and they're all just on one. So like, there's the desert.
And that's just Oz.
Yeah, and that's just Oz.
So like Ev could have the Donkeyville and the Foxville or
could.
whatever.
yeah, because Oz had weird shit.
But it also could be a whole new place that we just don't know
Yeah.
about.
In the Foxville, the King Docs said like you're closer to Oz than you are to Kansas, but he didn't say where they were.
Yeah,
So the
Yeah.
world building here is really just beginning.
it's a
It's
little
only just
loose.
beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
So-
yeah, there's a lot.
I'm just saying, I don't know why Dorothy thinks it must be fucking Oz, but they all resolve that it must be, and they just need to find some people and get directions, basically. So,
Yeah.
so they start to walk off.
That's that.
But yeah, and that is the end of chapter 12, The Deadly Desert Crossed. And Blake, what would you call that?
It's a hard rock life.
Yeah,
Okay, that was musical.
that works. Chapter 13, The Truth Pond.
So they look around the landing zone and they see like there's mounds of like yellow green dirt, there's trees with yellow blossoms, there's buttercups, cowslips, marigolds.
Cow's lips.
Uh-huh.
I've never heard of that either.
It's flowers.
It's
Oh.
flowers, though.
Oh, I'd heard the name, but I didn't know what they looked like. I actually Googled them when I was doing this. But Dorothy realizes, well, hey, everything's around us is yellow. So where do you think they are, Hannah?
They are in the one that the Tin Man
Yeah,
lives
who
in.
lives there?
Winkies.
Yeah.
Yay!
But yeah, Dorothy's like, we must be in the land of the Winkies, and the Shaggy Man is like, oh fuck.
Yeah, he's like, oh, hold up.
Oh, fuck. I owe Guy money here.
Probably more like, oh, there's a guy here who owes me 15 cents, so I was really not trying to come back here. But no, he's like, aren't we supposed to be in the land of Oz? And then Dorothy has to explain all the quadrants and what the regions are and where everybody lives.
Yeah. North
and,
purple,
He's like,
east
actually,
blue,
everyone
west
sit
yellow,
down. We're
south
having a
red.
geography lesson.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
like if you guys
it's like a
didn't-
full page.
it is. It's like if you guys didn't read the last 4 books, then you better pay attention here because
Yeah.
this is where the Winkies live.
The
And-
first book
yeah.
was the only one that did the world building, and then after that, it was like, good luck.
Yeah. Expect nothing. Like, yay, L. Frank Baum, give us nothing. Yes.
Then all of a sudden, we're in the center of the earth for some reason.
Yeah. I'm not
Well-
building no worlds this time. In you go. So Dorothy tells them that the Tin Woodman is the ruler of the Winkies, and they're like, oh, who's that? So Button Bright asks, like, who's the Tin Woodman? And Dorothy clarifies, like, Tin Woodman is Nick Chopper, the Tin Man that she told them about.
rules the kingdom, heart from the wizard, the whole thing.
Well, who's the wizard? Where does he live?
And it's like Button Bright. Okay, and the wizard lives in the middle of the country, and that's where all the countries meet. It's the 4 corners. That's the Emerald City, and Button Bright is just generally confused. And to be fair, there's a lot going on.
There's just no need
Since
for you
the
to
boat
know
crash.
every
Yeah,
detail.
he just
Yeah.
got a traumatic brain injury falling into a gopher hole, but okay.
That's right.
Also,
Um,
for someone who constantly says "don't know," he's asking a lot of questions.
yeah,
Yeah,
all of
he
a
should
sudden
really
you
know
want to
something.
know.
Yeah, after this, he will
Interesting.
never not know.
The Shaggy Man's like, okay, like, wait, like, we must be pretty far from the Emerald City, right? Like, we're at the edge of the desert. And Dorothy's like, yeah, like, we should probably find some Winkies real quick who can tell us where to go because, like, yeah, we're in the middle of fucking nowhere.
So they just basically take off and they're just walking. I mean, and it's beautiful. Like the grass is green. There's the yellow, or well, it is green. Ish yellow. There's yellow flowers. There's mountains. So it's really pretty. And she's like, oh yeah, this is where like I came with like the Tin Woodman, Cowardly Lion, Scarecrow, and we defeated the witch and we freed all the enslaved Winkies. And it's
Yeah.
like, wow, that is what they did. Which it makes it sound so different when she's like, yeah, we came through here, defeated the witch, and freed the Winkies. From what
Yeah.
I remember, they were going for the broom.
We are liberators. We are abolitionists.
Yeah, you're kind of
and-
changing the story a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
You wanted to leave the second you got there.
They're really buffing
Yeah.
up the resume.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know?
above and resume. But I mean, they did
that is
that.
what
They
happened.
did that.
That was the
They
result.
They did it.
It is
yeah,
fact-
they
what
didn't
you
mean,
did.
They didn't mean to do that,
It
but they
is-
did that.
Exactly.
It's factual but misleading at the same
Yes.
time. So anyway,
So Dorothy tells them that like the Winkies made the Tin Woodman their ruler after they freed them as slaves, and the Shaggy Man's like, "Wait, I thought Ozma was the ruler of Oz." And Dorothy explains that like the 4 quadrants of Oz have their own smaller rulers, and she honestly explains it so perfectly. She says that like the witches and the emperors and whatever who rule the different quadrants are like captains in Ozma's army, and Ozma's the general. And she rules everything. And I'm like, that actually makes perfect sense. Like,
Yeah.
Glinda's the store manager. Like, that's it.
well, and I mean, she probably could have explained it to him a little clearer by saying Ozma's the president and like the 4 quadrants are just governors. You know, it's literally just like the United States. Well, not just like there's not really democracy and there's a princess, but you know, there's
Yeah.
the metaphors there in government too. But it does work. I mean, either way, it explains it perfectly.
But they get to the trees that are like up on the plateau they landed on, and they realize that the trees are in a perfect circle. Like, they're just far enough apart that the branches shake hands.
Yeah, as
basically.
Button Bright
It's
puts
like giving
it.
signs.
It's
Yeah.
kind of giving like
It's giving crop
I mean,
circle.
it's giving me like creepy alien shit. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense, but they're in
Yeah.
a fairy country.
Yeah, it gives me like this is kind of creepy. Like if I walked,
Like maybe a Dr. Seuss type of feel to it.
oh, Dr. Seuss is a little too.
That's
light.
too much.
I think yeah, it's
No,
more
I think
like
it's creepier than that.
yeah, it's like
Oh.
The Ritual on Netflix.
Oh, that movie's
Oh,
fucked up.
Is it like the witch?
yes,
It's like
exactly.
the
Yeah, they walk up and it's like there's a light coming from inside the big round of trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
and
Yeah.
like
but they actually like it. It's kind of cute to
yeah,
them.
it's cute. In the
they're like,
center,
ooh, witchy.
Yeah.
in the center is like a big round pool of perfectly still water. It's like a mirror. Like Polly looks down into it and she's like, "Oh, it's a mirror."
Yeah, she literally screams. Yeah, and she's like, we also realized it's like super deep, but she's like, oh wow, I'm literally perfectly reflected. It's as if she's
Yeah.
looking into, well, not looking into. It's like she's looking at a picture of herself, which didn't exist back then, I guess.
Dorothy-
Does she feel confident when she looks in the mirror?
Okay, well, Polychrome feels okay. Dorothy looks into the water and she's like, oh God. She's like fixing her hair. She's like, no,
Yeah.
that fucking sand
Like
boat
no
ride.
one told me.
Yeah. Well, after the ride across the desert. Well, okay, after being like kidnapped and running, a lot's happened.
There was
but
a lot that happened. It's
particularly-
understandable.
It's been like a week.
the desert ride and then the fly through the air and then crashing
Yeah.
seems like it fucked up her hair.
And also, you're with a person that has a donkey head now and a person that has a fox head now.
Speaking of,
Don't be mad that your hair is a little out of place.
Yeah.
Button Bright looks into the water. He sees his fox face. He immediately starts bawling. He's so like, oh, I forgot I was a man.
Yeah, well, it also scares him because he like
Yeah.
looks down. He's expecting to see his face, and there's a fox.
Yeah.
and then he cries.
The Shaggy Man is like, I'm fully not even gonna look at my reflection.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
don't
like,
even bother.
he's done. Dorothy and Polly are like calming down Button Bright, and the Shaggy Man is just like kind of walking around. And he like approaches the water, like so he's not like above it. He's just like standing by it, so he can like because he's trying to avoid his reflection. But he sees something underneath the water, something from that angle, deep in the blue pit.
Yeah, like it reflects everything except for this. Apparently, he can see right through the.
I
water.
know. I don't really understand that,
Um,
but
But the silver plate, there's a silver plate that's like bolted to one of the rocks under the surface of the water. And the silver plate is engraved with the words, "The Truth Pond."
yeah.
Okay.
The Shaggy Man jumps to his feet. He's like, ah, we found it at last.
He's going off.
If you recall, the Truth Pond is the
Okay.
thing that can turn his head back.
I'm remembering now.
So,
okay.
yeah.
I was
I
like,
think-
why are we making such a big deal about the truth puns?
Here's the thing. We found it at last is a super weird thing to say. When you knew that the pond was in Oz, you got to Oz 5 minutes ago, and this is the first thing you
Yeah,
saw. We
and-
found it at last. You weren't even searching.
Yeah,
They
you
weren't.
kind of just ran into it.
Yeah, it's literally just
You didn't even have
lucky.
to check in with Ozma and like ask about it. That's what I assumed.
And honestly, Dorothy's like, oh yeah, it's like lucky we happened upon it because like
Do you think
yeah.
that, or I guess this will be coming up, but does the truth pond help with button brights?
Here's the thing. Button Bright assumes it does. He's like, yay, me too. And like while everyone's
No
talking
one said that.
like everyone's talking about like, wow, yeah, it's so great. And
Yeah.
then behind them they hear a
and they turn around and Button Bright was so excited he stepped into the water.
No one said
slipped-
that was the way to do it.
Well,
he slipped.
So he slipped and fell in. But the donkey, King Kikabray, said, "Oh, you have to bathe in the Truth Pond."
But that was about
about
the Shaggy
yes,
Man.
about the Shaggy Man. So they knew that in theory that would save you.
Button Bright cannot swim.
He is sinking like a stone to the
He
bottom.
Sinks. It's so deep.
He goes in. He doesn't even bob a little bit. He just goes straight in and keeps going down.
No!
it is straight
There's
to the
weights
bottom.
on him.
Yeah, yeah. He filled his pockets with the stones.
There's
on
weights
the way
on the
through.
fox. Weights on the fox.
Yeah.
like his sailor hat is just floating.
But
on the
yeah.
water.
No.
When he finally bobs back up, the Shaggy Man snatches him out of the water, drags him to the shore, and everyone's standing around Button Bright just like staring at him like, oh my god.
Because when he fell in that water, his head turned back into a chubby little human head.
Yay!
He's so cute.
Aw.
And Polychrome has never seen him before, so she's like, "Oh my god, what a darling!" And she
She-
like hugs and
she
kisses
loves
She just wants to
him.
put her hands all over him. She's like, that's what you look
him.
like.
Yeah.
Which, granted, I think little Sailor Fox is super cute, but like,
I think that's pretty cute too.
No,
But
Yeah.
well, Button Bright is just like looking at them like, what? Like, am I good? And Dorothy's like, oh yeah, you're great. Like, come take a look.
Yeah. She takes his little hand and he looks down at his reflection and he says, "It's me." And he's like touching his face.
I like teared up when I read that for no reason.
he just had like we all thought he was about to die. He was sinking to a bottomless pit.
Yeah.
Like,
it, like said,
And
but
he
now
has
he's
his
just a
head.
little boy again.
it said he like said it in like a hushed voice, like, it's me. Like I just, I'm like getting teary.
Stop.
But the Shaggy Man is like, "My turn," and he takes off his coat and he dives in head first into the water, which I'm like, okay, good thing you
Okay,
didn't break your neck.
careful, seriously.
Yeah, like you're a grown man. But he comes up and same thing. His head is totally normal. There's
Oh,
water
thank
dripping
God.
down his beard and his mustache. He crawls out. He
First
shakes
shower
himself
he's
off.
had in months.
I know. I was like, that's the thing is, I was like, God, that water is not clean anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, they also like they are disgusting. They've been
It
traveling
filters
for
it out.
days.
it's
but,
it's magic filter.
There's,
I'm
like,
sure it's
now there's
magic.
like weird hairs floating on the top of
Ew,
it.
yeah, that is
Ew.
not a perfect mirror
It's
anymore.
like a dog swimming in a pool.
But yeah, but then like he goes and looks at himself in the water and he's like, oh, like I might not be pretty, but I'm prettier than a donkey. Dorothy says that both the Shaggy Man and Button Bright are quote all right. I guess in appearance. And,
Say, you're all right.
yeah. But she says it a little more abruptly, and she's like, so let's
Polychrome.
all right.
wait. Polychrome knew. She knew what
The
Shaggy Man looked like before. That's right. Okay.
Yes, yeah, because they
Yeah,
had
'cause she was there
Button Bright had-
laughing at him when he got turned.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
and
right.
Button
that's
Bright
right.
had just gotten turned before they met Polychrome.
That's
so.
yeah.
Yeah. But Dorothy, she says all right to both of them. She's like, so let's thank the Truth Pond for being so nice, and let's find our way to the Emerald City now. Like, let's go, because we're good. And then they do. And they go to find someone to give them directions, which is really the only thing they can do other than just walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And that is the end of chapter 13, The Truth Pond, which is the inspiration for our cocktail tonight. And Blake, what would you call that?
I'd call that Button Bright steals the moment.
Chapter 14, TikTok and Bellina.
Tick tock, make it stop. Put a beat
Wow.
Why is
in
everyone
the dot.
singing?
You do not know that
I
song.
fucked up.
So as they're
TikTok,
walking,
make it stop.
put the beanie on the bob. So as they're walking, they come upon a fine road, possibly of yellow brick. I
Who
really don't know.
knows?
He didn't tell us. But they decide to follow it, assuming that it leads to the city of emeralds, which is why I think it could be of yellow brick.
I don't know why they think that, though, to be honest.
Well, if it was yellow, they would.
Well,
I don't know
okay,
why
true.
he didn't say they found the yellow brick
Yeah.
road. I'm mad about it.
It feels like if that's what they'd found, he would have said it.
I don't
so
know.
I-
what
that's
this-
why I assume it
really
wasn't.
never know with this guy.
Yeah, that man's crazy.
But the sun is nice and bright, and Button Bright and the Shaggy Man's clothes dry quickly. And the Shaggy Man is very happy to have his own head back because now he can whistle.
Yeah. And so he's whistling a little tune.
I'm so annoyed by that. Whistling is rude.
Well, Dorothy liked it when they were at the very beginning. She was like, oh, that's nice little whistling. It's pleasant to walk through the country with
That's
that.
true. That is how he enchanted her eyes. And
That
Yeah.
was the old school AirPods.
Yeah. Yeah. You have nothing to listen to but your own breath. You probably wouldn't mind, you know?
Take a whistle.
So he's whistling. Everyone's loving it. Polychrome is dancing to it. And like Dorothy's like, oh man, I'm also glad that everyone is so happy. Like,
yeah.
and like everyone looks perfect
Everyone's
and
doing
normal
better.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're in
so, like,
Oz.
we're
we
good.
have our own heads.
Best day
we're
ever.
happy.
And Polly's dancing ahead as usual. And she like kind of goes around a corner. But then they hear Polly scream, "Oh!" And she
She has to
comes.
stop running ahead.
Well, well.
Well, honestly, I guess she's
I
giving us
agree.
a warning and a heads
It
up.
is.
But
She screams.
she's kind of scary.
She comes sprinting back at them full speed. Have
Full
you seen Get
speed.
Out?
yeah.
You know, like when that guy
yeah.
runs.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But, like everyone.
Does she run past them?
Yeah, she just keeps running. No, but she's running back. Everyone's like, "What is going on?" And then she doesn't even get a chance to answer because from around the corner comes something terrifying.
Yeah.
A funny little round man made of burnished copper, and sitting on his shoulder is a yellow hen in a pearl necklace.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm here again.
You
I'm
were like
part
sitting
of
there
it.
filing your nails,
Yeah,
and
I
then you're
was
like,
like-
"Hold on, what?"
I was like, just tell me when the book's over.
I just love though, like L. Frank Baum remembers such small details, like that Bellina wears a pearl necklace, but he doesn't remember like massive plot points. Like, I
Yeah.
don't get that.
It's
like
it's a
the little
choice.
belts.
Yeah.
Doesn't remember little
Yeah.
belt, but remembers pearl necklaces.
I hate him. But Dorothy recognizes her friends. She runs to TikTok. He hugs her. He gives her a kiss on the cheek. Belina flies into her arms.
Reunited and it feels so good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm in a really sing-songy moment.
Okay, well, last episode was Oz Howard the musical, so I think we're kind of coming down off that.
Yeah. But TikTok says, "Welcome to Oz."
Yay.
And Belina's in Dorothy's arms. She's like sitting on the ground and she's just like stroking Belina.
Ah.
Yeah. And Belina's like, "Oh, Dorothy, like, I have wonderful news."
Right at that moment, Toto barks and makes a jump for Belina.
He's never seen Belina before.
Apparently,
Competition.
None of Dorothy's animal companions like
No.
Belina, apparently. But
Jealousy.
Dorothy grabs Toto, tells him to stop. Toto wants blood.
He's ravenous.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
he's
my
pulling.
God.
And it makes you wonder, is this the real Belina?
False face.
Stop.
face.
Stop.
So Dorothy's like, "What the fuck, Toto?" Like, she smacks
She's
him.
smacking him.
And he finally calms down, and Belina flies up onto TikTok's shoulder and just roosts there. And she's like, "Oh, what a brute."
What a brute.
Yeah. And Toto is like, "No," or Dorothy is like, "No."
The Toto's like,
Yeah.
wow.
Don't.
Yippee dog, yippee yay.
So Dorothy says he's not a brute. Like, he chases chickens at home and like he's just not supposed to. He knows it. She scolds Toto, tells him that Belina's like one of her dearest friends, blah, blah, blah. And then Toto wags his tail in understanding as
Yeah.
usual. So great.
Belina's like, that fucking thing can't even talk.
Yeah.
And Dorothy's like, actually, he can talk. He talks with his tail. I know how to read
Yeah.
his tail.
And actually, he says sorry and that he loves you too now. And then, you know what Toto says?
What?
Bow wow. Yeah.
I was like,
Which-
wait, that's a meat dog.
Which usually Bow Wow seems to mean don't know, because he like echoes button
Well,
bright.
that's true. Don't know. Bow wow.
Yeah. It must just be a slightly different inflection. But yeah, so
Interesting.
he speaks his
Yeah.
bow wow.
Belina's like, whatever. Anyway, I still have really wonderful news for
No,
you,
no,
Dorothy.
no, wait. Because actually, Dorothy cuts her off again.
No.
And Dorothy says, actually, wait. I need to introduce everybody.
Actually, first, everyone has to meet each other, and then
Yeah.
you can tell me what you tried
this
to say.
is like a this
Yeah.
is like an awkward dinner party
It is.
where like it's just like no one knows each other. You're having to introduce everyone.
And it's not just like introductions, it's also a little bit biography. Because she's like, this is TikTok. He's the machine man whose mind, talk, and action need to be wound up like a clock.
Just
you
saying
to give away everything
everything.
about
Yeah.
them.
Button Bright's like, is he alive? And Dorothy's like, no.
Tell me about his insides.
Yeah,
Yeah, look at
literally.
this.
Me or
Yeah.
not?
But the Shaggy Man actually asks a good question, which is like, oh, like, do they all wind up together? Like, you know, the mind, the talking, and the action. And Dorothy's like, no. And why don't they all wind? In what world would he just need one wound up at a time?
Because
Like,
Smith and Tinker are
cruel masters.
Yeah, and like really pretentious, and they're like, let's put 6 knobs on this. thing."
Yeah. Yeah. They were like, why have one keyhole when we could have 3? So
But-
anyway.
Yeah, Dorothy introduces Belina and TikTok to her friends, and TikTok takes off his hat and he bows real low and he says, "I'm very pleased to meet Dorothy's for
He winds down.
Dorothy's like, no big deal. His speech just needs winding. So Dorothy winds up TikTok, starts him back up. He's like, sorry for running down. I was just going to say any friend of Dorothy's is a friend of mine. Here's the thing. They bumped into TikTok and Belina in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Who was going to wind him up? Belina?
Belina
Yeah.
can't do that.
She doesn't have hands.
She'd have to, yeah. Because, like, that was
There's
just
just
talk.
there's not even
but-
a way for her to do that.
What were they thinking?
I guess Ozma would probably just look at him in the magic picture and teleport him home if they got lost.
Oh my god.
I don't want to really think about that, but I had that written down too.
So annoying.
Yeah. But then they introduce Belina, which takes less time because apparently the talking hen is less interesting.
Yeah.
And Belina's like, okay, well, I've got wonderful news.
Damn it.
And Dorothy's like, oh, great, dear. What is it?
Belina's news.
She has hatched 10 of the most beautiful chicks you've ever seen.
Oh, hatch.
Hatched,
Oh,
not the eggs. These are her
okay,
babies.
Okay, that's
No,
different.
she has babies now.
Yeah.
It's air
Oh,
buddies.
she's a mother.
Yeah.
She's a mother.
Dorothy's like, oh my god, that's so sweet. Like, where are they?
Oh, they're at home right now.
Oh,
Do you want to know what their names are?
Yeah.
Dorothy. Dorothy's like, which one?
all of them. And Dorothy's like, why? And that's a
She's
great
like,
question.
that's my daughter.
Well,
Yeah.
It's hard to tell all the chicks apart. They all look the same. So she gave them all the same name. So now when she calls Dorothy, all of the chicks come running to her.
It's easier.
Yeah. It's very sweet though, like, and
It is.
because you
She's
can
like,
tell,
that's my daughter.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Belina
That's
is
my
like,
little one.
excited, yeah,
They're all her children.
Mhm.
yeah.
So why not just name them after her
She's probably
firstborn?
Dorothy's the reason that she didn't want to give those eggs up.
Yeah, exactly. She
Mm.
inspired
She
her
was
to
like,
be a
you
mother.
know, I don't want people to eat
Yeah.
these eggs.
I already lost one. I'm not losing. I'm not losing 10 more.
I'm gonna keep these.
Well, Dorothy's like, well, can't wait to meet the chicks, but first, elephant in the room. What the hell are you guys doing in the middle of Winky Country?
Yeah.
We're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, what's going
happening? Okay, you're gonna get mad. TikTok says that Princess Ozma saw you in her magic picture and sent us here to welcome you. Ozma looked in the magic picture for the first time in the last week, or
And
Yeah.
she just decided
And
not to
when-
do a little dee da da ba da ba doo ba da dee.
Because pretty much no matter
Yes.
what she saw, no matter what she saw, should have been I need to get them to Oz
Let
moment.
me bring them here.
Ever since the Scootlers, all they've had was almost being soup, deadly desert, more deadly desert.
There hasn't been much good to look at.
Dorothy
No.
literally got herself to Oz,
Don't
and now
think that
Ozma wants to step in and help.
Ugh.
Like, let her walk the
And
next
she
2
doesn't
days.
even
it's
do
fine.
the thing.
She doesn't even show up herself.
Yeah, she doesn't even do the thing that would be the easiest. She sends people.
Just teleport her. Anyway, TikTok says one of the most profound things that he's ever said.
Ooh.
He says, so that physical comes so looting hyper gobble into zib ick.
Is that Russian?
No, that's just the sound of TikTok's talk running down. But he just keeps on going. And Dorothy's like, oh, okay, wait, what the fuck? Why
Yeah.
is that happening?
Button Bright and Polly are scared of him.
Yeah,
They're like,
Button Bright's
"What
like,
is
don't
this?"
know. Yeah, Polychrome's still been freaked out since she ran away from him around the corner, but then she runs away and like goes even farther back because she's frightened. Like she is getting a distance, which like she probably thinks he's gonna explode or
She's
something.
like, I'm getting a head start.
Yeah, yeah. And then Belina's like, oh, like it's just his thoughts that have run down this time. So then Dorothy goes and winds him up under the other arm, and then he's back to fucking normal.
So he apologizes again. He finishes his story, letting them know that Ozma sent him and Belina to welcome Dorothy and her friends because she's too busy planning her grand birthday celebration.
Yes, her hands are
Ooh.
full.
Party.
August 21st.
Yeah. But Dorothy is relieved that they're here in time for the party. And
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I heard about the birthday. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. And she's like, wait, how far are we even from the Emerald City? And the good news is, not far.
Plenty of time to get there, too.
Yeah. They are going to spend the night this night at the Tin Woodman's Palace. And then
Okay.
tomorrow they will arrive at the Emerald City. So 2 super easy walks. And we know how far the witch's castle in the first book was from the Emerald City. It was like a half day's walk for
Yeah.
them. So like it's just that
Easy.
distance. Yeah.
Easy.
So they're on, like, Dorothy's super excited to see the Tin Woodman, of course. They're heading to the Tin Woodman's palace. Everyone's getting along great. Like, actually, Button Bright is so into TikTok. Like, it's his cool uncle now.
Aww.
Yeah.
He's like,
He's like,
I
I
don't
want to
know.
be just like you when I'm older.
like he wants TikTok to like open himself up and show Button Bright the clockwork.
Oh,
And
so,
TikTok's like, I am not capable of doing such
so
things.
Button Bright's an engineer.
Yeah, he's
because
gonna be.
He plays with Legos.
Yeah.
Cute.
And then he digs holes. But like then like Button Bright's begging Dorothy. He's like, Dorothy, next time TikTok runs down, can I wind him up, please, 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 please? And she's like, yes, you can wind him up next time. He's holding TikTok's hand. Button Bright
I
loves
love
TikTok.
that.
Yeah,
So cute. Like couples Halloween costume, Button Bright and TikTok.
Aw.
But yeah, they come over this hilltop and they see Nick Chopper's Tin Castle.
Yeah. And you heard that right. It is a tin castle.
Yeah.
It is a castle entirely made of tin.
Remember,
How long
Dorothy.
did that take to make?
Well,
Dorothy killed a witch in the original castle, so she knows that's like not the castle, and she's like,
Yeah.
"This is this new?
Yeah, she's like, whoa, that's new, right?
Like, I've never seen that. That's me going back to my hometown and like being like, I've never saw that before.
Yeah, like, why is there a Chipotle there? That's weird.
Yeah. But I think but it's explained that like, oh, the old castle was just like, it was moist, like it made everything rust,
Like
which is obviously a
damp
problem.
concrete.
Yeah, which I get, it makes sense. But they're like, yeah, so they made a whole new one.
Yeah. It took a ton of tin to make this new castle.
Yeah.
And Button Bright looks up at this giant palace
In the distance.
and says,
Semi-distance.
"Is it a toy?" I don't know why he would possibly think that palace that's probably the biggest thing he's ever seen in his life is a toy.
Yeah.
So
I don't either.
Dorothy, in response, says one of the most insane things she could possibly say. Do you have this?
Yeah. She says, it's better than a toy. It's the fairy dwelling of a fairy prince.
Are you fucking joking me? What?
Yeah.
Why
What?
does she say things with so much confidence like we've heard it before?
Like the fucking cloud fairies?
yeah.
Yeah.
She says she just says things and it doesn't you've never said that before.
It's the fairy
was
dwelling of a fairy prince.
I'd be like, show me, prove it to me.
Yeah, and also, since when is the Tin Woodman, who's the emperor of the West,
It's
since
a
when
tin,
is he a fairy prince?
So
and
he's-
also
he's
the tin,
Stumblefella all of a
tin
sudden?
castle is not a fairy kingdom. When I think
No.
of fairy kingdom, I think of like not tin. Not tin.
It's a fairy dwelling for a fairy prince. And that's really all we get on it because then the chapter ends. And
Yeah.
I'm mad about it.
That, for some reason, is the end of chapter 14, TikTok and Bellina. And Blake, what would you, fairy prince, call that?
Oh my god, please start calling me fairy prince, first of all. I
Aw.
love that. Second of all, Princess Ozma. Better late than never.
Ding.
Yeah.
TM.
Chapter 15, The Emperor's Tin Castle.
So, as we all know, the Tin Woodman loves flowers.
Yeah.
So, the grounds at the Tin Palace are full of beautiful gardens. There's fountains and tin statues depicting Nick Chopper's friends and their many adventures.
Did he get queer-eyed?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so.
Some gays showed up at his
Yeah,
house.
just
and
wait till you
changed
see
his
what he's
life.
wearing and cooking. But Dorothy, like, they're going through the gardens, like, upcoming to the palace, and Dorothy finds her own statue. She has her little sunbonnet in the basket from her first appearance in Oz, and she's like, oh, how sweet. And then she notices there's a little Toto at her feet, too. So,
Yeah.
little tin statues of everyone.
There's statues of everyone. Scarecrow, Wizard, Ozma, TikTok. Like, everyone has a statue in the garden.
Aw.
It's really
Yeah.
cute. But they enter the
He's like, I
palace.
love my friends.
I love my friends. I don't love my friends that much. That sounds expensive.
It's
Oh, wait.
crazy
We'll get to
expensive.
that. But they enter the palace. The Tin Woodman comes running out to greet them. Everyone's so happy to meet him. He pats Button Bright on the head. He tells Polychrome she's the most beautiful vision he's ever laid eyes on.
And the Tin Woodman tells the Shaggy Man, like, his life story, how he used to be made of flesh. But for some reason, he just changes the narrative and says that his axe just slipped so often that he had to get himself replaced with tin.
Oh, I honestly
Oh.
didn't even notice that when I read it. I was like, yeah, his axe did slip several times, but
Yeah.
because of a curse.
Because he was
Yeah, because he was
cursed.
cursed by a witch because he was in love with a girl who was the daughter of the witch or of that woman. Anyway, I was just like, okay, why are we I don't know, smoothing that over, which not that it needs to be in the book, but I just thought that was an interesting
Yeah,
thing since there's not even a
super
reason
weird.
to do this. So why change the narrative?
weird.
Yeah.
But he's
But-
happy now because he has a brand new heart that Dorothy helped him to get.
Yeah, and he shows his friends around the palace. Everything is made of tin.
Yeah.
Tables, chairs, beds, floors, walls. Everything's tin.
He's obsessed.
Everything.
He's
Chandelier,
obsessed.
bookcase.
He said,
Okay.
I'm keeping it on a theme.
Yeah. It's called My Theme is Skin, I guess. 'cause
Yeah, but also it's his
Under the
clothes
skin.
too.
and his clothes. But yeah, he's like, the Winkies are excellent tinsmiths. Bet you've never seen anything like this in Kansas, have you, Dorothy?
And,
Oh.
and
She's
she's like, no,
no.
of course not.
Why
Can
would
you
I-
fucking
like-
She's
imagine?
like, why would anyone ever do this? This is
Nothing-
weird.
He's like,
yeah,
like I'm talking to a Tin Man right now. I
Yeah.
know that I'm not.
You know
It has
what?
nothing to do with
I
Kansas.
think it's-
you
No.
psycho.
Yeah, it's really rude that he put 10 beds in there when he doesn't even need a bed.
Well, yeah.
And like the people, like anyone else who uses a bed in his palace
Ugh.
will not be made of 10.
That will fuck up my back. I'm
Well,
gonna need a cot.
And tin chairs, a cot. Yeah, the cot's made of tin. Hannah.
No!
But yeah, it's insane, and also insane because where do you get all that tin?
Yeah.
And yeah, the Shaggy Man is like, oh, it looks like it costs a lot of money.
The Tin Woodman says, money in Oz? Are you kidding me?
Are you insane? Are
I've
you
never really
fucking
thought
whack?
about currency. in
No.
It's also like
Oz.
we've talked about this on the pod before. Like, how did they buy
Yeah,
things?
what is
Um,
currency? Like, what is value?
We finally got our
Yeah.
answer. The Tin Woodman tells them that if Ozians used money to buy things instead of like buying them with like love and kindness and the desire to please each other, they would be no better than the rest of the world. Like honestly, I was rolling my eyes so hard reading this because like we just talked about how everyone loves the Tin Man so much, and then he's like acting like a fucking prick. Honestly, Like,
Yeah,
ew.
well, but the thing is, he's not acting like a prick. L. Frank Baum is creating some truth that's insane, and the Tin Woodman is the one who
Yeah,
has
he
to
just
explain it.
has to be the voice
And
for that.
Don't
yeah,
shoot the
he's like,
messenger.
oh, in Oz, like we don't have money, we don't have rich people, we don't have poor people, because if somebody wants something, everyone just wants to give it to them.
And nobody wants more than they need.
So how did you
it's
get all this
reasonable.
tin?
Wait, okay, so I have a few specific things.
Okay, okay, okay,
Because
okay.
I'm like, okay, sure, like, yeah, no one's rich or poor, and everyone has what they want. Do you guys remember General Ginger, the leader of the rebel army?
Yeah,
yeah.
who
Um,
wanted fucking equity?
Yeah, well, and yes, that because so there's many things.
All
So
she
number
was
one,
asking for was some equal pay.
yeah. Well, it's nuanced a little bit, but like I don't know. It's just like she wanted more than she had, which is already not what he said. Also, if she wasn't at home like doing all like the quote women's work that she didn't want to do, which is also a cultural thing, but still, if everyone was neither rich nor poor, no one would have to do that shit in their own house.
And they all
like,
just do things to make each other happy. So like the Scarecrow's
Yeah.
a perfect ruler, and General milks the cow because she likes to.
yeah, and also the Wicked Witch. Anybody like? so
Yeah,
we're just
like,
talking
what
about
about
Yeah.
all these
like,
other people?
How about
Mombi?
Mombi?
Yeah.
Mombi was evil, and she had to enslave a child.
Yeah,
to
why
do her
did
household
Tip
chores.
get the
If this- yeah.
shitty end of the stick?
If this
you
is
know,
the perfect society, then why doesn't she have a social service that gives her support?
Yeah, if
Like,
everything was
no
so
healthcare?
perfect, none of these stories would have
Yeah,
happened.
True.
not to mention the
True.
entire rebel army that Ginger led.
'Cause
Because
Oz-
it's not just Ginger; it's all the women, I guess, of Oz.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oz can't be perfect, or else we won't be coming back every time.
No, exactly, and that's
Well,
it's just
apparently,
insane.
apparently, there's nothing worse than money because slavery is fine in Oz, and
That's the
torture is
thing.
fine.
But
in
they don't have to
Oz.
think about that.
No.
Yeah, they don't
as
have
long
to
as they
think
don't have
about it.
money, everything's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's an interesting speech, which I think is insane. But the Shaggy Man, and I understand, like on a like hearing that the leader of the land telling me that no one's rich or poor, everyone has exactly what they want and need, and then all the people I've come to trust believe that and like have experienced it. Okay, the Shaggy Man is like, oh, that's great. Like I hate money. Like that, I won't accept 15 cents from this guy in Butterfield who owes me 15. Like
That's
so
right,
he's like.
Butterfield.
Yeah, so he's like on one, and I understand why, if that's what he wants, why he would be excited about that.
He
you know?
wants in on the utopia, and as we
Yeah.
know, pretty much everyone except for Dorothy always stays to live the rest of their days in Oz. So the Shaggy Man's like, "How do I get in on this? I want to live here."
Yeah, always. He
Yeah.
wants to live there always.
Because of the love magnet, the Tin Woodman loves the Shaggy Man, so he wants to help him out. And he's like, "Look, you prove to Ozma that you're honest and worthy of our friendship. I guarantee you, she'll let you live here for all your days."
Yeah.
But also, you need Ozma's permission to live in Oz.
I guess so. I guess as a non-citizen, maybe they have a strict immigration policy.
You know, well, it'll
Yeah.
get overcrowded. I get it.
I mean, even Dorothy's just a like honorary princess.
Yeah. But okay, the Shaggy Man will have to clean up his act though, because I don't think they like homeless people in Oz.
Well, he's right by the Truth Pond.
Yeah, he can just go live by the Truth Pond.
Just bathe there every morning.
Yeah, that he can have a little cabin. But
yeah, the Shaggy Man's like, I will try to prove that.
Yeah.
I'll make it happen.
Anyway, says the Tin Woodman, time to eat. So they basically he sends everybody to their little apartments to refresh themselves. And he's like, okay, everybody, we're going to meet in the dining hall, in the tin dining hall in 25 minutes or whatever. And he apologizes to the Shaggy Man because he doesn't have any clothes to offer him because all of his clothes are tin. And I'm like, what? I don't understand why that
just
happened.
The Shaggy Man.
Yeah, I mean they're probably the same size, maybe, but it doesn't matter. The Shaggy Man's like, I don't care at all.
And the Tin Man's like, no, you don't.
Yeah, it's very
He
like
looks him
I
up
didn't
and
think
down.
so.
Then it says they were shown to their rooms and permitted to make such toilets as they could, and I don't know what that means. But
Oh, you make your toilet. That's like an old timey way of just describing getting refreshed.
Oh, you make
Yeah.
your toilet?
Yeah.
Then
It's like powdering your
Don't forget to
nose.
make your
It is,
toilet.
yeah.
We have guests coming.
Make your toilet.
But yeah, everyone gets ready for dinner, and they all meet downstairs.
Even Toto's allowed to sit at the table.
Yeah.
He gets a little high chair.
Animals are distinguished guests in Oz as long as they
Yeah.
behave themselves.
Yes.
Does he
and-
eat the same food or does he get
Yep,
different
he
food?
eats the same food, all from a tin plate.
Yep. A
Um,
tin dish, and everything is tin.
What's
as you might have
Polly
guessed.
eating?
Well, we'll get there actually.
Okay.
But everything they're eating is off of tin dishes that shine like silver. And they all eat except for the Tin Woodman, who watches quietly
Yeah.
and listens to all of them chewing.
He just,
Okay,
like,
you're a weird
yeah.
host.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like he can't eat, so I don't know why he couldn't have a glass of oil or something.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah, do
He's like,
something.
I
to
don't
keep
like
yourself
dessert. When
busy.
everybody else gets dessert, I get a glass of wine or something. I
It-
mean, do something.
Honestly,
something.
it's weird though, because does he miss eating? Is he watching them eat oh, that's good. They look like they're liking that.
Yeah.
Is he wishing he could
Yeah,
have the
what is it?
experience
Is it
again?
like a
His favorite food used to be flesh, so he's probably it's for the better. I'm a monster.
Yeah, this is his penance.
He's actually Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dahmer got stuck in Oz.
Yeah, he got sent back in time into Oz.
But what pleased Button-Bright the most about the dinner was the tin orchestra that played sweet music while they all ate. So at least he couldn't hear them chewing
Yeah.
so well.
Which you're probably thinking, oh, okay, an orchestra, so there's got to be brass instruments and well, no, it's tin trumpets, tin fiddles, tin drums, tin cymbals, tin flutes, tin horns, tin guitars, tin piano, tin didgeridoo, tin clarinet, tin coronets, tin harps, tin cellos, tin basses, tin
Timpanis.
recorders, tin timpanis, tin castanets.
Tin composers.
No, they're Winkies.
Damn it.
All right. Well, anyway,
But honestly, you said 10 so many times that I was hearing the number 10.
It's
and
also my
It made
pronunciation.
me think of 55 burgers, 55 tacos.
yes.
I got lightheaded for a sec.
She forgot to breathe.
It's a lot of tin and 10.
But yeah, I mean, they played really good music. They played, the Shining Emperor Waltz, which was composed expressly in the honor of the Tin Woodman
That they do.
by Mr.
Dun,
H.M.
dun,
Wogglebug
dun,
T.E.
dun, 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 dun.
Not a
This is
1908.
before that.
No.
Damn it.
But yeah, Polly was dancing to H.M. Wogglebug T.E.'s symphony.
Oh, crossover. We thought
But,
we'd
yeah.
never.
Oh,
never
and
see.
she had eaten a few dewdrops right before, so they
It's like,
collected
do
them
they get
special
her-
for her.
Do they get her drunk?
Yeah, is that like is like
Because
That was a cocktail for us, but for her it's just dewdrops.
well, it says after she tasted a few dewdrops, she danced gracefully to the music with.
so it's
while
got a
the
feeling a
whole
type
goes.
away.
I guess I think she's just refreshed because that's what she's supposed to eat. And all she's had is apples.
Yeah, I get that. It's like a
She's
smoothie,
boozer and an
maybe.
abuser.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is like her green smoothie moment.
Yeah, she's like, finally.
The Tin Woodman loves her dance, by the way. He is like, woohoo, woo, woo, woo.
Yeah, he's clapping so hard with
Do the
his
whistle.
hands. But he's clapping so hard that it drowns out the cymbals. It's just like "Jung, jung, jung." It's awful. No one
God,
likes his
so
applause.
He's ruining it.
It is. And then this is so stupid that I regret even doing the preface to saying it because now I have to say it. The Tin Woodman does apologize because there were no mist cakes. So he says to Polly, he apologizes to Miss Polly for missing her mist cakes. Miss Polly's mist cakes were mislaid by mistake.
And we're not missed until now.
Missed.
But yeah, he'll make sure she has some mist cakes for breakfast to remedy his mistake.
Yeah. Mistake.
So they spent the evening telling stories and went to bed, and
Yeah.
the next morning they set out on the road for the Emerald City.
Yeah. The Tin Woodman has a steel axe that's plated with tin. It has diamonds on it. He's just swinging it in the air, just woo, for no reason. And they're all leaving, and the Winkies are cheering him on, clapping. Yeah, and that is the end, the abrupt end of chapter 15, The Emperor's Tin Castle. And Blake, what would you call that?
I didn't get an opportunity to name this one.
So it's improv.
The Emperor's New Tin Clothes.
Thank you for listening to Oz Hour. Please join us next time as we continue with Chapter 16, Visiting the Pumpkin Patch. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Oz Hour Podcast for the latest on everything Oz. Oz Hour, created and hosted by Blake Stone and Wyatt Swingham, co-hosted by Hannah Aguirre, audio production by Charlie Johnson, theme music written and performed by Rudy Klobus, cover art by Valentin Lucas.